So here I am with G from the GGE, or what does that
G's
stand for
gaming
now?
experience.
G's Gaming
G's gaming
Experience.
experience. Yeah.
And I'm here to do another Constitution of Siege, but it's going to be a little different because I've had a lot of casters on, and I keep telling them you can do any kind of clip, not necessarily pro league clip, but of course because we're casters, they keep showing us pro league clips. I'm hoping G here shows us something a little bit different to kind of highlight that there are other aspects to Siege that can be highlighted in other ways, and get some different perspectives because that's what this is all about. G, what are your clips? Because you have a couple for this one, right?
So my big thing is gadget interplay. I think a lot about the macro level of the game and the actual game design. That was sort of what I leaned into because my tactics, might need a little bit of work. Probably will continue needing a little bit of work for a really long time. But I have a good strategic mind, and so that's the kind of side of the game that I really, really enjoyed a lot because I felt like you could contribute to your team without necessarily having like crazy gun skill. And if you can read situations that put you above in many kinds of variables, right?
Yeah.
And Siege is a game where nothing is really going to happen the same way twice. In theory, right? And sometimes in practice, that doesn't turn out the way that you would think. For the most part, I really think that the variety and complexity is what makes the game stand out to me. So the clips that I showed you were a Twitch and an IQ interaction.
Cam. Yeah. Try and look for more here.
A Brava interaction and a Grim interaction.
Attach meeting.
Yeah. I can't see anything.
One's on
Like,
the
just jump
stairs.
in.
Head right on four. Right on four. That's his head.
Nice.
You can swing him.
Fellow, when you have time, literally just press space.
And Grim in particular, after he got the rework, I was really, really bullish on Grim, even though some people weren't particularly happy with the buffs that he got. A lot of people said, oh, I don't get it. What's the point? Just drone it. But in reality, the ability to get intel from a different kind of way besides a drone can help. And I thought that was really cool. So
Yeah, and I think that's kind of proven by the fact that all of a sudden, in a post-Manchester major world, a lot of people are mentioning, man, I fucking hate Grim. He's so oppressive. Like, if he wasn't such a good operator, then people wouldn't say that. You don't hear people complaining about Blackbeard. Well, they do complain about Blackbeard, but like,
I complain about Blackbeard.
He's not the oppressive force he once was,
Yeah. So consider my Grim stocks like right here, because I bought at the dip.
I mean, I was
nobody messed with him like I did. I was about it. I was about it from day one.
I respect it.
Pre-buff Grim. Pre-buff Grim was not good.
I respect it.
Not a good operator.
I was checking my website, and it turns out I had made a post talking about what Grim would need to be viable. One of the thing I mentioned, like, 2 things out of the list of 5. Like, 2 of them were just increase the AOE and give him the ability to bounce these things, and he'll be in a really good spot. And lo and behold,
I said give him a Sova bounce.
So it sounds like also Grim is not just like one of those instant win interactions, which it sounds like is also something you really appreciate, because with some operators you could say, like, smoke in a late round situation, you smoke off an area and they just can't plant behind cover because it's smoke, there's no time. Like, interaction 1, in a sense. It sounds like with Grim and, like, the Twitch IQ play and the Brava, you don't like those necessarily all or nothing. This interaction has been won purely off the gadgetry. Now the equation's kind of solved. It's like the interaction needs some back and forth.
I mean, not necessarily. I do think that there's something to be said about making the gadgetry not the, complete and total. Like, it shouldn't make the gunplay take a back seat. It should, in an ideal perfect world, supplement the gunplay. But you can say as much as you want in theory, and sometimes in execution it doesn't always turn out that way. Valorant is a game, for instance, that's always struggled really hard with that particular kind of balance. I remember a long time ago they said, we don't want abilities to give kills. Well, there's plenty of abilities in that game that provide kills or set up playmaking opportunities, But if you're to talk about Grim specifically, I think Grim's a great example of an operator that provides a playmaking opportunity, and I think that's really cool, because he does so in a way that's not oppressive or over the top.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't think the game should be Call of Duty, right? So there needs to be a little bit of back and forth. But
Yeah.
info is always a good place to start, because if you get information, then you have to be the one that wins the gunfight. Like, you can have all the information in the world, but you still got to win your one, right? So
Yeah.
that's a good balance, I think.
I agree, and I also think on the information front, that's also why the Twitch IQ combo is like, and the Brava also is very interesting, because it's like you're kind of winning the war on information to set yourself up for advantageous gunfights later down the line. In
Yeah.
the Twitch IQ case, it's denying their information, so like denying their advantage, and with the Brava, it's
And denying it
literally
efficiently,
stealing.
too.
Because like those Valve cameras, if you're just looking for them blindly, it's hard to spot them, or like so that's why you need the op synergy, and I think that's another thing as well, just like the op synergy, because we don't talk about like operator lineups and operator synergies that much anymore, but Mute Mozzie
Yeah.
used to be the talk of the town for a while because they played so well together.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I like about Siege. I like that you can, there's actual strategy that you can do with a friend, and science surmises that doing anything with friends is more fun, and I think Siege is more fun with friends too. If you have an ability to make a play, you have a read, you say, hey, I want to dismantle this, but I need a couple more moving pieces. That incentivizes you to learn the game and incentivizes you to work together. And I think that's really cool. I think that's what makes Siege different from other FPS games.
Especially since you were at the Manchester Major, do you think that there's a play from like that tournament or previous tournaments that kind of highlights this from pro play?
Not from the Manchester Major, but I did end up working in the Twitch IQ combo that I sent you, because I remember watching, that was a Dark Zero staple on Night Haven.
Oh, okay.
And one of the things that I thought was really interesting about that was it was their way to kind of get around a Valkyrie ban. If I remember correctly, that was before the Solus nerf, so they were able to get away with, allocating. I forget if Dark Zero banned Solus or somebody else did, but either way, Solus at the time before the big nerf that she got was obviously just a must bring on pretty much any kind of situation. So you could get away with not having to omit the Solus ban by going, crap, there's a Valkyrie, we got to get rid of her on this map. And you got to deal with Solus, right? You could ban the Solus, then you have the Twitch IQ to deal with the Valk, and that crossed your T's and dotted your I's.
So is there anything else you want to say? Anything you want to point out?
I think with Gadget Siege isn't Siege, and I think that's cool. I think that operators are at the very core, the central tenet of what makes the game work, and I have faith in Ubisoft to be able to keep coming up with interesting new ideas. We'll just kind of put Operation New Blood in the oops in the oops category. We're just like, oh, okay, it's okay, we don't have to talk about it. It's all right.
We've had a few of those.
Yeah.
So it's just another one.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see what they do. I have everybody kind of has good reason to suspect that the next operator is going to be another old Tom Clancy character, from I think who worked with the Cypriot, not the police. I forget which specific unit she was involved in, but that should be really interesting.
Yeah, you seem more in tune with the Tom Clancy lore than I am. I just know there are a bunch of books that I didn't pick up from the library's book sale.
I'm very I read a little bit from time to time.